calling all fans of Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones. A journey to Vancouver Fan Expo this weekend awaits you, where you will have a chance to see and perhaps to meet award-winning Welsh actor John Rhys-Davies. Now, he's best known for playing excavator Sala in the Indiana Jones movies and for Lord of the Rings, where he played the courageous, stubborn, axe-wielding dwarf warrior Gimli, son of Glóin. Here is one of his most iconic lines.
I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
I could do that.
That was John Rhys-Davies as Gimli in Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, cementing an alliance with Legolas after a long-standing beef between dwarves and elves. Now, John has been good enough to join us this morning from New Zealand before he boards his flight to Vancouver. Hello to you, John.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Yes, it is good morning, isn't it?
It is indeed good morning. I left it neutral because I know that we're reaching you in New Zealand right now. And so it has been more than 2 decades since Lord of the Rings, since the trilogy came out, and it is still hailed as a game changer in the genre of fantasy film. It garners new fans every year. What do you make of the impact that franchise has had over the years?
Oh, it's an astonishing, an astonishing thing. It is. It has actually opened up, I think, something like 8,000 or 9,000 new businesses of people supplying dwarf gear, axes, dressing their friends for fan conventions. That alone makes it rather interesting. And the number of young novelists who have emerged in the genre is extraordinary. I mean, just many of them female, but an awful lot of them men too.
And the generations that find these films and love them.
Yes. Well, let's face it, Tolkien was a remarkable man and a remarkable writer. And when you imagine and dream and invite people to share your dreams, when you're a supreme intelligence like that and writer and so creative, other people will share that dream. And film is really about dream, isn't it?
It certainly is, and especially in the case of Lord of the Rings. You have been at your fair share of conventions. Tell me what keeps you coming back to the convention circuit.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The first convention I went to, I think, was in the late 90s, and I had to go and do it to promote a show I was doing. And I was the typical actor, bloody fan conventions. What the hell do I want to go and see 700 people dressed up like Captain Kirk? Can't these people get a life? And I went, and slowly, because I actually started talking to people and listening to what they had to say, I really discovered that so many of them have the richest life you can imagine.
I imagine they're so grateful to meet you, and do they have any idea how grateful you are for them?
Well, I try to tell them without sort of, being too gushy. Yes. Yes, I think it's the most valuable thing that actors can do, actually, meet the audience. Understand what the audience likes and wants. Because clearly studios often don't understand what the audience wants and likes.
I just want to ask you, of course, I mean, people know you, I guess they most recognize you for, Gimli or for Sala. I mean, you've got an extremely versatile resume as an actor and an extremely long and successful career. You've done plenty of theater work, and you've, done audio dramas. You've made a guest appearance on Star Trek as Voyager, as Leonardo da Vinci. Can you, after everything you've done, can you pick out the most rewarding moments, the highlights for you?
I'm often asked, what's your favorite? Film? And I always say the next one. There are so many. I mean, Lord of the Rings, what a wonderful, the complete setup was wonderful. Peter Jackson had put together a team of absolutely keen, fanatical people who really wanted to do the most perfect job in the world. The writing was good. The directing was brilliant. The production, we don't understand the value of really good producers. I mean, I was so skeptical when I went to did Lord of the Rings. I thought they had no idea. It was 3 films of an unfilmable book. They have no idea what filmmaking is about. Because I'd done quite some big ones like War and Remembrance, which was 18 months shot around the world. And, and I had done Shogun in Japan, and that was a, technically very difficult show for the producers. And the test eventually came. We went down to Christchurch, and it was raining, and that was the day the call sheet went out. There will be no filming tomorrow because the lake is underwater. Not only the lake, but about 5 or 6 square miles all round it. The rain had washed out part of a hillside and taken out 11 houses, and also the main road which connected the production office to Christchurch itself, which meant that instead of a 3-kilometer drive, we were now doing 19 or 20 kilometers on a single-track road to get from A to B. The only time I've ever had to climb into my hotel room by stepladder because the ground floor was underwater.
Would you go back to the project? Would you go back to the project? Andy Serkis, who is also going to be at this Fan Expo, by the way, will be starring and directing a new Tolkien prequel film called The Hunt for Gollum. Are you considering a return to the franchise yourself?
Well, I haven't been invited. I mean, I always made it clear that I really couldn't do Gimli again because the makeup and running up those hills with an extra 80 pounds on is possibly going to be a little more taxing now that I'm 80 than it was when I was 55. Say, if I could be satisfied that we could get away with a bit more CGI and stuff like that, I'd be very tempted to say yes.
John Rhys-Davies, we are going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. I thank you so much for your time. It is such a pleasure to meet you, and just a delight to talk about the craft with you.
Well, you're very, very kind, and I hope you're going to come to the convention, and I hope you're going to urge the good citizens of Vancouver to come and at least to see Andy Serkis. But there are hundreds of other actors and other talents there. It's well worth it. And what else are you going to do in the sort of the cloudy, cold, rainy Vancouver?
John, thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine.
That is John Rhys-Davies, an award-winning actor and one of the best laughs in show business. And you can see him at the Vancouver Convention Center this weekend for Fan Expo this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.